Next to the questions about how this Oceanside building crumbled to the ground and how it could have been prevented. Florida 24's Katie LaGrone is digging for those answers. She joins us on the ground in Surfside with all the new details.
There will be no way of knowing what caused this collapse until engineers can get into this building, cleared of the rubble and down to the foundation and the earth beneath it. On day 2 of the search for survivors in the rubble of the Surfside condominium, filling the air here, smoke, ash, and so many questions.
This collapse is something so unusual, it just takes the cake.
The how, the why, obvious questions that for the man who literally wrote the book on Florida building codes and inspections seems almost impossible to have to ask.
Shouldn't have happened.
John Pistorino is among the most recognized engineers in the state, built some of its most notable high-rises, and has investigated his share of devastating structural collapses, including this 2018 bridge collapse at Florida International University. Pistorino says he's now been asked to help uncover what brought portions of this 40-year-old building to the ground, and with it, an unknown number of residents inside.
So how does this happen?
Well, I don't know. I think it's improper to speculate.
Speculation is already raising questions about climate change and building above rising seas. In a 2020 study, this FIU professor found over a 6-year period in the 1990s, this Oceanside condo subsided a half an inch.
The building moved at a very slow rate, but still moved.
It's too early to know if that movement had any impact on the building's collapse or if the new hotel next door aggravated its foundation. Strict Florida building codes and inspections specifically for Florida's wetland topography make any collapse that much harder to understand. Pistorino's focus will likely be on the structure's center.
That main center section, that's the most culprit section because it looks like that brought down the rest of it.
We know the building was in the process of undergoing its mandatory 40-year recertification. Pistorino tells us in 2019, the condo's HOA asked his own firm to submit a proposal. They were rejected.
They basically said we were too expensive, and so we didn't go forward with it.
The firm who did get the job, Morabito Consultants, a Maryland-based structural engineering firm with an office in Palm Beach Gardens, was in the early stages of that work. But the company not saying much. Its president and founder telling me in a text today, "I am sorry, but we cannot comment at this time as our investigation is ongoing." Any investigation into the building structure taking a back seat at the moment while the search and recovery continues. Answers on cause will likely take months. Meantime, the town is working to fulfill a number of public records requests involving the building's history, including inspections and permits. As the number of confirmed casualties from this beachside condo collapse in Surfside now reaches double digits, new documents show despite a 2018 engineering report flagging major structural damage to the 12-story tower, a month later, the town's former building official told concerned residents the building was in very good shape. That's according to meeting minutes released by the town this morning. The revelation follows a string of recently released documents by the town that paints a picture of a 40-year-old Oceanside condominium scarred by structural wear, tear, and failures.
It's absolutely vital.
And when it's not done correctly?
Well, then it creates deterioration.
In 2018, engineers inspecting the building as part of its 40-year recertification found a lack of proper waterproofing or drainage had caused concrete slabs near the garage and under the pool deck to deteriorate, with the potential to expand exponentially without a fix in the, quote, near future.
Could it cause problem enough to literally make a 12-story building crumble to the ground?
I can't comment on that unless I know the details.
John Pistorino is one of Miami's most recognized engineers. He created much of the county's building codes and has been asked to help uncover what led to the 136-unit condo building to fall. He wouldn't talk specifics about this building, but explains how bad drainage can become a major problem.
Water gets in there underneath that waterproofing, which is what it is, into the structural slab, and the drains don't get rid of it. Salt water. Then it's going to have the opportunity to attack the steel.
Records also show within a few months of the engineer's report, residents expressed concerns about the tower's stability due to a nearby construction project, but their concerns dismissed.
The first day was shock, the second day it was sadness, the third day it was anger.
Robert Listman and Marta Castro live in Champlain Towers East. Just one building separates them from the south tower that fell. These are pictures they took of a cracked column they say didn't exist before the collapse.
Town official confirmed that there's no imminent threat.
Still, they're worried, especially after learning what engineers had found next door, flagged, but wasn't enough for town building officials to act on. Whether or not any of these findings ultimately led to the collapse of this building, we simply don't know. But what town officials knew about the structural damage here is just one more question in a sea of them here in Surfside. Back in 2018 and as recently as April of this year, engineers and residents had sounded the alarm about this condominium in desperate need of repairs, getting worse with time. Day 6 in Surfside brings no luck, no miracles, and still no answers.
Since our last briefing, no new fatalities have been confirmed.
But also on day 6 in this small beachside town turned global epicenter of a tragic and historic rescue and recovery mission, mounting questions. How did this 40-year-old condominium crumble? Why? And were the increasing signs of destruction and disrepair repeatedly ignored?
Sorry, I'm so hungry.
Rosalia Cordaro is a resident of Champlain Tower South. She was out of town when the building spontaneously collapsed.
Somebody called us at 6 o'clock in the morning. I was thinking it was a joke.
For at least a year, Cordaro says she had complained about issues in the building. Her front door didn't close properly. She noticed cracks.
Under our balcony, there was a big crack. Then we complained. But of course, they have to renovate it, so everything is going to be okay. Be patient.
But never, she says, was she told of structural problems, including major structural damage in the tower's garage and under the pool deck. The findings documented by engineers in 2018 as part of the building's 40-year certification. Cordaro says she and her husband had just sent a $95,000 check, their portion of the multi-million-dollar renovation. You were never told that the building was not safe.
You think we should give the money to somebody who they told us the building is not good?
There were serious issues with this building.
Surfside Mayor Charles Burkett now responding to questions about the building's structural concerns, that 2018 engineering report, and the former town building official who a month later described the condo in very good shape.
We're all disturbed, to say the least. Very disturbed.
The mayor also revealing the tower was originally planned for 12 stories. The town still working to locate that 13th floor plan.
You design a building for 12 stories and you add a 13th at the last minute. It's not a great idea.
Last night, we posed the question. Did the town drop the ball here?
We'll find out. We certainly will find out if the town dropped the ball.
Who do you blame for this?
The city, because the city is supposed to bring people to check.
That condo resident also telling us there was some frustration and debate among residents about the cost of this renovation. Some residents didn't want to spend the money. Nearly 1 week to the hour later, the hunt carries on for victims, survivors, and answers.
It's been tough. I just want to emphasize that. It's been tough.
This video, released by Miami-Dade Fire Rescue, shows the monstrous mountain of rubble. Responders meticulously sifting through amid so many risks, inclement weather, with the odds of success dwindling each hour.
The number of deceased is at 16.
Off-site, there are few updates about the building's history. Newly released documents show 40 years ago the tower's 13th floor penthouse addition fueled an order to immediately cease construction. It violated town code, but town council granted an exception. Many questions still center on this 2018 inspection report as part of the building's 40-year certification. Engineers found major structural damage from drainage issues in the garage and under the pool deck, and abundant cracking.
I am 100% shocked. I think I may be more shocked than most people.
Shocked because structural engineer Jason Borden actually did a walkthrough of the South Tower in January of last year.
I spent about an hour on site, did a walkthrough with the property manager and with a resident who pointed out some issues that they knew about in the building that they felt would need to be addressed.
Including stucco deterioration, concrete cracking on balconies and in the parking garage. But Borden says nothing stood out.
I didn't see anything alarming or anything that made me feel unsafe in the building, or what we've done in the past at other locations. If we see something, we will direct the owner to immediately put shoring, to immediately brace the situation to have it resolved to make it safe. And I didn't see anything that I felt necessitated that action.
For Borden, it was just the one visit, but watching it crumble a little over a year later has been difficult to comprehend.
In our understanding, buildings don't fall down, and when they do have failures, they give us time to address them. The fact that this came down in the manner that it did completely blows me away. I'm completely unprepared to deal with something like that.
While the focus remains rescue and recovery, the how and why this tower fell remains a top priority for local, state, and federal investigators who are all now part of the forensic investigation into this deadly collapse. We're told that could also include reconstructing this building somewhere else to help determine cause. Reporting in Surfside, Katie LaGrone, Florida 24 Network.